Welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk about the strategy I use to nail the bottom on Litecoin down here, CRV down here, and also on Bitcoin at the lows here, and also where you can follow me to see what I'm talking about, where I actually posted these setups in real time for CRV, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. You can see all the proof here. It's still there. I don't delete any posts, and I make consistent updates about what I'm expecting next in Discord, as well as a little bit on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter, link in the description down below, and then message me on Twitter if you want to get added to the Discord group. It's completely free, but you can see my consistent updates here with Bitcoin and also the setup with Litecoin. Someone actually disliked that one on the Litecoin setup, but turns out it ended up being the exact bottom before this rally. So zero drawdown with that setup. So check it out. In this video, I'm going to talk about what strategy I was using to catch all of these bottoms with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and CRV as well. So I'll just go into each of those setups and show exactly why I was interested in taking those trades when I took them, and also what the next logical target is. So I'm still looking for higher prices on Bitcoin. So I'll talk about the next logical target there and also what I'm expecting next for Bitcoin in this video as well. So let's get into it. All right, let's break down the strategy that I used to nail all of these trades. This strategy was the trend following, stop loss hunt, divergence strategy. Okay, so this strategy requires you have a directional bias, so the direction that you think that the trend is going. And on all of these, that direction was to the upside. I was expecting uptrend continuation. So with that in mind, I'm looking for then a stop loss hunt on a logical low. In an uptrend, I'm looking for a sweep on a logical low during a correction of an impulse. So impulsive move in an uptrend, we have this was the one I identified as the impulse for Litecoin specifically. And then I have logical lows to be swept. This is our last logical low right here. So I've outlined that green box. That's what I was looking at as the final logical low to be swept. And then looking for continuation to the upside. So continuation of the current trend, right? So we sweep that logical low, but at the same time, we need a divergence. This is the trend following, stop loss hunt, divergent strategy. So our final piece of the puzzle is a divergence with, once we have identified our trend direction, our logical low to be swept for stop losses, and then our divergence to tell us that the momentum is shifting. So things are decelerating. So as price comes down, it's decelerating, meaning it's likely to be shifting and coming to the upside if we're decelerating as we come to the downside, and we're sweeping a logical low for stop losses, plus we're trading with the main trend in mind. So we have a lot of things in our favor. So that was that final logical low that I outlined and posted in real time on both Discord and in Twitter. You can go back and look at it, the dates on that and the timing of the post. So as we came down here to sweep that logical low, which was the final low right here, we had a bullish divergence. So not only on our momentum, and you can do this with many indicators, not just this one. I just like using my Trade Pro indicator. It suits me. Bounce of power, and on the momentum, came to the downside, swept that low while having a bullish divergence present. This is the hourly time frame. And the idea is that we'll see an uptrend continuation after doing so. And since then, we have not returned to that point. So that's the strategy. It's the trend following, stop loss hunt, divergent strategy. So that's the Litecoin setup. You can go and look at the posts that I made on Twitter or X, and also on Discord if you want to join the Discord. Let's take a look at CRV. So remember, same strategy. It's going to be the trend following, stop loss hunt, divergent strategy. So we have what I see as the trend direction, the bias, and we're looking for a logical stop loss hunt level. So at least out of these levels with bullish divergence, we get a bounce. That's normally almost all the time, you're going to see with a divergence and a stop loss hunt level and a directional bias, that there's at least a bounce. So normally when you get a bounce, it's enough to get the stop loss to break even. So it's rare that you take a significant loss using this strategy if you're waiting and patient for these significant lows. So we had the directional bias, which is to the upside. I saw this as my bias. So I'm looking for price to correct that impulsive move, sweep a logical low, and then take off to the upside. And so my most logical low was this untouched low right here. So let's take a look at our divergence now. So as we came to the downside here, we can see that both our balance of power and our momentum, so lower lows on price, balance of power is coming to the upside as we get down into that sweeping of that logical low. We also see that our momentum was coming to the upside at the same time as well. So we have our bullish divergence, we have our sweep on our logical low untapped, we have our directional bias, and so the entry down in this area would anywhere within here would have been fine, and then looking for a significant move to the upside, if not a full trend continuation move to come up and take out these highs, at least a bounce, which would allow a stop loss to get moved to break even. Okay, so that's the setup there. Now let's look at Bitcoin. So logical lows, directional bias, bullish divergence, same thing. We have our directional bias, which has been to the upside for quite some time. We have very logical lows here, clear as day, logical lows to be swept. We come down, we sweep those logical lows. So at the top of this green box, which are our logical lows, and then we look to our momentum, we look to our balance of power. So we can see as we come down, sweeping those lows, here's our bullish divergence on momentum. Here's our bullish divergence on the balance of power. We come down, we sweep the lows, we have bullish divergence, we have our directional bias, and we bounce. So stop loss to break even once we get the significant bounce, and then logical targets. So for this one, my logical target that I've been posting about is 52,000. So still expecting higher out of this, still holding on to it, and that next logical target is right here. If we look back here, it's our next logical high that hasn't been tapped yet. That's the target, 52K for profit taking. I've already posted updates in Discord saying, okay, stop losses to break even, expecting higher, just to keep people sufficiently bullish, seeing as it's risk-free at this point with already taking a partial profit up here to just get rid of fee cost and moving stop losses to break even or into profit at this point. So no reason to be too scared about this position, letting it ride to that 52K target, okay? So that's the strategy that was used. It's the trend following stop loss hunt divergent strategy. I've actually made quite a few posts about this strategy using live trade examples in the past. You can check those videos out. They're all still posted here on my channel. But now that we've kind of covered the strategy that I was using to make those trades and post about them in real time, let's talk about what's likely coming next. So as of right now, I just said my main target's still 52K from this sweep on lows and this follow through to the upside. I'm still expecting we get there. And again, why am I expecting we get to 52K before any sort of real significant pullback? Well, it's an untapped next logical high. I'm always looking for just next logical targets. Remember previously when I was posting about being a buyer all throughout this move up to 48.2K, it's because this was the next logical high right here. This untapped high at 48.2 or 48.3, something like that. That was the next logical target I was gunning for, and we made it up there before getting our significant pullback. Once we got the significant pullback, I'm looking for a setup to get long again, looking for the next trend continuation move. Our trend is up, so I'm just looking to be a buyer, not thinking about shorting whatsoever. And so right now, the next logical high is at 52. That's the next logical target that I'm aiming for. So we had the setup to get long into this trend and then look for that next move towards 52K. and there's not much to do in between there. So most of the time it's just sitting and waiting, either in a position or waiting for a setup to take formation, and so that we can get into the trend and look for that next move. The great thing about the trend following divergent stop loss hunt strategy is that almost all of the time, very, very, very rarely does it not allow for at least a small bounce, allowing for the stop loss to get to break even. So when you have the stop loss hunt plus the trend direction and the divergence, it's very rare where there's not at least just a bounce, unless there's a really strong move that goes against it. Sure, you're going to get stopped out. You can't win all the trades or go break even on all trades, but the majority of the time, there's at least a bounce, which allows stop loss to get moved to break even. So that's the thing that I really like about the strategy. It's quite reliable at getting the stop loss at least to break even. And it's been doing very well, especially in the trending environment that we've been seeing recently. And you can go back and look at all my posts. I don't delete anything on the Discord or on the Twitter, although I don't post that much on the Twitter. Check it out. You can kind of see what the idea is. I posted other videos about this, but right at this moment, let's talk about Bitcoin again. We do see quite a bit of bearish divergence coming here on the hourly. I don't see a major reason that we're going to see a huge pullback. So if we do see a pullback here due to the bearish divergence forming, I'm expecting something similar to what we saw right here, where it's just a minor small pullback. So we may come down, sweep some lows, chop around a bit here before continuing higher. But I don't think we're going to take out the lows of this consolidation all the way down here at 41.7. So I'm expecting a higher low and then a higher high compared to this previous pullback right here. Okay, so that's the idea at this moment, looking for follow through towards 52K. I don't know that we're even going to get this large of a pullback. We may first sweep this high right at around 49 before we get that that larger pullback before continuing towards 52. Or who knows, we may just continue straight towards 52K, but nonetheless, expecting that we do not come down and take out the lows of this pullback, just expecting a higher low if we do come down here a bit before continuing higher out of here. But it doesn't really matter what happens up here because the entry point is way down here, and so just staying sufficiently bullish, holding on to it, and sure, partial profits are fine, especially as we start getting closer to that main target. Already made most of the way there, so it's okay to take partial profits. Personally, I like to just close out a tiny bit just to pay for fees, and then just wait it out and just let it hit the target. Stops at break even. It doesn't bother me if I get stopped out at break even. So that's it for this video, really covering the strategy that I've been using. And also what I'm expecting next. There's not too much to update here. Just expecting higher. Pullback is fine. Not expecting a huge pullback, but then continuing higher. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Check out my BingX and Bybit exchange links if you don't have an exchange to trade on. I always appreciate the use of those. But anyway, thank you guys and have a great day.